Forget what you thought you knew about World War II airborne assaults. Deep within the history of Operation Varsity lies an untold saga of bravery. A final push by paratroopers so daring, it defies belief. We're about to uncover the extraordinary contributions that history almost forgot. March 24, 1945. Germany, east of the Rhine River. The war is almost over. Everyone knows it. Germany is collapsing. Soviet forces advance from the east. American and British forces push from the west. The end is near, weeks away, maybe days, but Germany still fights. Desperate, determined, defending every inch of territory, making the Allies pay for every mile. The cost in lives is staggering, even now. Even when defeat is certain, the Rhine River is Germany's last major barrier in the west. A natural defensive line, wide, fast-flowing, difficult to cross. The Germans defend the east bank ferociously. Artillery, machine guns, infantry, tank units. Every crossing point is a killing ground. Allied forces have been crossing the Rhine for days, fighting for every bridgehead, taking heavy casualties. Progress is slow, bloody. The Germans are making them earn it. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery commands British and Canadian forces in the north. He plans a massive crossing operation, codenamed Plunder. Ground forces will assault across the Rhine, establish bridgeheads, push inland, but crossing rivers under fire is brutal. Casualties will be high. Montgomery wants an advantage. Something to tip the scales. Airborne forces, paratroopers and glider troops, dropped behind German lines, seizing key objectives, cutting off retreat routes, creating chaos in the German rear, supporting the ground assault from behind enemy positions. This is Operation Varsity, the airborne component of the Rhine crossing. The largest single-day airborne operation in history. Bigger than Market Garden, bigger than Normandy. Over 16,000 paratroopers and glider troops, dropped in a matter of hours, all in one concentrated area. The plan is ambitious, bold, and extremely dangerous. The Germans know the Allies are coming. They're ready, waiting. Anti-aircraft guns positioned everywhere. Fighter aircraft standing by. Ground forces in defensive positions. This won't be a surprise. It will be a fight. The paratroopers know the odds. They've done this before. Normandy, Market Garden, southern France, Sicily. Every drop is dangerous. But this one might be the worst. Daylight drop. Over heavily defended territory. Against an enemy with nothing to lose, but it has to be done. The Rhine must be crossed. Germany must be invaded. The war must be ended. Someone has to do it. The airborne forces are the ones who can. The ones who will. March 24, 1945. Dawn. Thousands of aircraft take off from bases in England and France. C-47 transports. C-46 commandos, gliders. Hundreds of them, thousands, filling the sky. Flying toward Germany. Toward the Rhine. Toward one of the largest airborne operations ever attempted. This is Operation Varsity, the drop that would help end the war. The operation that cost hundreds of lives in a single morning. The largest single-day airborne assault in military history. This is their story. By March 1945, the strategic situation is clear. Germany is finished. The question is not if they lose, it's when. And how much it will cost the Allies to finish them. The Red Army is advancing rapidly from the east. Warsaw liberated. Budapest captured. Vienna threatened. Soviet forces are pushing toward Berlin. The race is on. Who reaches the German capital first? Americans and British from the west? Or Soviets from the east? In the west, Allied forces have broken out from France and Belgium. The Battle of the Bulge is over. Germany's last major offensive defeated. American forces are advancing toward the Rhine. British and Canadian forces are pushing from the north. The Rhine is the obstacle. Germany's greatest natural defense in the west. Over 1,000 feet wide in places. Fast current. Deep water. The bridges are destroyed. The Germans blew them as they retreated. Every crossing must be contested. Forced, paid for in blood. American forces cross first. Remagen. March 7th. They capture the Ludendorff Bridge before Germans can destroy it. A miracle. A lucky break. American troops pour across, establish a bridgehead. But it's narrow, limited. The bridge collapses 10 days later, damaged by German demolition attempts. The bridgehead remains, but reinforcement is difficult. Patton crosses near Oppenheim. March 22nd, surprise assault. Minimal resistance initially. His forces establish another bridgehead, begin expanding. But it's in the south, far from Montgomery's forces in the north. Montgomery plans the main crossing. Operation Plunder. Massive assault across the Rhine in the north. British 2nd Army, Canadian 1st Army, American 9th Army. Hundreds of thousands of troops. Thousands of artillery pieces. Naval support, air support, everything. The assault begins March 23rd, night attack. Artillery bombardment. Then assault boats. Infantry crossing under fire. It's brutal, but they establish footholds, bridgeheads. By dawn, March 24th, ground forces are across, fighting inland. But German resistance is fierce. Casualties are mounting. This is where Operation Varsity comes in. Airborne assault to support the ground crossing. Seize objectives behind German lines. Cut off reinforcements. Create chaos. Help the ground forces break out of the bridgeheads. The plan for Varsity is different from previous airborne operations. Normandy was a night drop, hours before the seaborne landings. Paratroopers scattered. Disorganized, took hours to assemble. Market Garden was a deep penetration, trying to seize bridges far behind enemy lines. Too ambitious, failed. Varsity will be different. Daylight drop, visibility, accuracy, better assembly. And close support. Drop just behind enemy lines, near the ground forces. Within supporting distance. Not a deep raid. A direct assault. Coordinated with ground operations, 2 divisions will drop. American 17th Airborne Division. British 6th Airborne Division. Veterans, experienced. The British jumped at Normandy. The Americans fought in the Bulge. Both are proven, professional, ready. The objectives are specific. Capture the Dyersforder Wald, a forested area controlling key roads. Seize bridges over the Isel River. Prevent German use. Block reinforcement routes. Clear landing zones for follow-on forces. Establish strongpoints. Hold until ground forces link up. The timing is crucial. Drop at 10 a.m. March 24th, after the ground assault begins. But before the breakthrough. Supporting, reinforcing, not isolated. Not alone. Coordinated. The aircraft will come from England and France. Massive fleet. Over 2,500 transports. Over 1,300 gliders. The largest airborne armada ever assembled. Flying in formation. Escorted by fighters. Bombers attacking German positions. Everything synchronized. Everything coordinated. It's an enormous logistical challenge. Timing, navigation, coordination, thousands of aircraft. Tens of thousands of troops. All converging on a small area. In daylight. Over enemy territory. Under fire. The complexity is staggering. But it's necessary. The plan requires it. The operation demands it. The airborne troops prepare. March 23rd. Evening, final briefings, maps, photographs, objectives, routes, assembly points. Everything detailed. Questions answered. Concerns addressed. Then the waiting, the men write letters. Check equipment. Sharpen knives. Load weapons. Some pray, some joke. Some sit quietly, processing, thinking about what's coming. About friends. About home. About survival. Many are veterans. Jumped before, Normandy, Holland. They know what to expect. The chaos, the fear, the violence. But knowing doesn't make it easier. Experience doesn't eliminate fear. It just teaches you to function despite it. Others are new. First combat jump. First time in combat at all. They're scared, trying not to show it. looking to the veterans for guidance. For reassurance, the veterans help. Calm them, give advice, share confidence. It's what soldiers do. Take care of each other. The British 6th Airborne is commanded by Major General Eric Bowles. Experienced, respected. He jumped at Normandy, led his division through the campaign. His troops trust him, follow him. He's proven himself, earned their confidence. The American 17th Airborne is commanded by Major General William Miley, also experienced. Though this is their first combat jump as a division, they fought in the Bulge as ground infantry, proved themselves there. Now they'll prove themselves from the air. The drop zones are east of the Rhine, near the towns of Wessel and Hammenkeln. Small area, concentrated, both divisions dropping close together. American zones north, British zones south. Tight coordination required. No room for error. The planes begin loading. Late evening, March 23rd. Paratroopers board C-47s. Equipment loaded, weapons, ammunition, supplies, everything packed tight. Gliders are loaded too, jeeps, artillery pieces. Heavy weapons, anti-tank guns. Everything that can't be parachuted. The aircraft taxi. Line up, wait, the operation starts early. Planes will take off through the night, forming up over England, crossing the Channel, timing their arrival for 10 a.m. over the drop zones. Precision timing, massive coordination. March 24th, dawn. The first aircraft take off, one by one, then groups, then streams, hundreds of planes, rising into the morning sky, forming up, heading east, toward France, toward Germany, toward battle. The flight across France is tense but uneventful, flying over Allied-held territory. No enemy threat, just navigation, formation flying, staying on schedule. The pilots are experienced, professional. They've done this before, flown these missions. They know the drill. Inside the aircraft, paratroopers sit in silence mostly. Some doze, exhausted from lack of sleep. Others stare, thinking. A few talk quietly. Nervous energy. Most just wait. There's nothing else to do. Just wait. Until it's time to jump. The gliders are worse. More cramped, colder, noisier, and scarier. No engines. Just being towed behind a transport. If the tow rope breaks, you crash. If the transport is hit, you crash. If anything goes wrong, you crash. Gliders are death traps. Everyone knows it. But they're necessary. The only way to land heavy equipment. The Armada crosses the Rhine into German airspace, into enemy territory. Now the danger is real. German fighters could attack. Anti-aircraft guns will fire. The vulnerability is extreme. Slow aircraft, predictable routes, perfect targets. The escorts are there. Hundreds of fighters, protecting the transports. But still, the risk is enormous. The drop zones approach. The pilots can see them. The ground is visible below. Towns, fields, forests, the Rhine behind them. German positions ahead. Anti-aircraft fire begins. Flak bursts. Black puffs in the sky. Explosions, shrapnel. The transport pilots hold formation, steady, straight. No evasion. The paratroopers need stable aircraft to jump from. No maneuvering allowed. Aircraft are hit. Some immediately. Engines smoking. Wings damaged. But most keep flying, getting their troops to the drop zones. That's the mission. Deliver the paratroopers, even if it costs your life. The transport crews know this. Accept it. They're as brave as the paratroopers. Maybe braver. They fly unarmed transports into flak, watching as other aircraft explode. But they keep flying, keep their formation, keep delivering troops. The green light comes on. Jump light. The signal. Paratroopers stand. Hook up static lines. Check equipment. The doors open. Wind rushes in, loud, cold. The ground visible below. Enemy territory. German soldiers looking up, firing. But there's no time for fear now. Just action. Automatic response. Training taking over. The jump master yells, "Go, go, go." The paratroopers shuffle forward. Out the door. Into space falling, then the parachute deploys. The jerk, hard, violent but necessary. Then floating, drifting, descending, vulnerable, exposed, helpless until you land. The sky fills with parachutes. Thousands of them, white against the morning sky. It's a spectacular sight, beautiful in a terrible way. So many paratroopers, so much vulnerability. The Germans on the ground see them coming. They open fire, machine guns, rifles, anti-aircraft guns, firing into the paratroopers as they descend. Men are hit mid-air, parachutes collapse, bodies fall faster. Others land wounded, bleeding. Some dead before they hit the ground. The descent is a shooting gallery. The paratroopers can't fight back, can't take cover, can't do anything but fall and hope they're not hit. Private First Class Stuart Stryker, 17th Airborne, remembers the descent. Stuart Stryker. I looked around, saw hundreds of chutes, guys floating down. Then I heard gunfire, saw tracers coming up. A parachute near me collapsed. The guy just fell, straight down, screaming. I couldn't help him. Couldn't do anything. Just watched him fall. Then I focused on my own landing, trying not to die myself. The landing zones are not clear. Intelligence said they would be. Light resistance, mostly clear fields. But intelligence was wrong. German troops are everywhere. Dug in, prepared, waiting. As paratroopers land, Germans attack, shooting them before they can get out of their harnesses, before they can get their weapons ready. The landing zones are killing zones, but the paratroopers fight back. Those who land safely, those who get their weapons, they return fire, establish positions, begin assembling. The training kicks in. React, fight, survive, accomplish the mission. Automatic responses. No time to think. Just act. The gliders come in next. Hundreds of them. Released from tow aircraft. Gliding down, silent, eerie, landing in fields. Some land perfectly. Others crash. Hit trees, buildings, obstacles. Gliders are fragile. Wood and fabric. Crashes are common. Fatal often. One glider hits a building, disintegrates, everyone inside killed. Another lands in a minefield, explodes. Another is hit by anti-aircraft fire, breaks apart in the air. Falls, crashes, burns. Glider operations are always brutal. Varsity is no exception, but many land successfully. Troops pour out. Unload jeeps, artillery, anti-tank guns. Begin moving to objectives. The heavy weapons are critical. Paratroopers with rifles can't stop tanks. The glider troops bring the weapons that can. They're essential. Worth the risks. The objectives are clear. The 17th Airborne will seize the northern part of the Diersforder Wald. Block roads. Prevent German reinforcement. The 6th Airborne will take the southern part. Capture bridges over the Isel River. Clear routes for ground forces advancing from the west. The fighting is immediate. Intense. German forces defend strongly. They've had time to prepare. Fortify positions, dig in. They're not surprised. Not caught off guard. They're ready. Waiting. The 513th Parachute Infantry Regiment lands directly on German positions. Chaos. The paratroopers scatter, trying to avoid fire. Assembly is difficult. Small groups form. Attack what they can. Clear what they can. Progress is slow. Casualties mount. But they keep fighting. Keep advancing. Colonel James Coots commands the 513th. He lands in the middle of the fight. Immediately engaged. German fire all around. He rallies nearby paratroopers. Forms a combat group. Attacks a German machine gun position. Clears it, moves forward. Keeps advancing. Leading from the front. Inspiring his men. The 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment faces similar resistance. Landing under fire. Assembling under fire. Fighting immediately. No pause, no respite. Just combat from the moment they land. The British 6th Airborne has different terrain. More open, fewer trees, better visibility, but more exposure. German observers can see everything. Direct artillery fire accordingly. The landing zones are shelled, mortared. Paratroopers land into explosions, shrapnel, chaos. But British discipline holds. They've done this before. Normandy prepared them. They know the drill: land, assemble, attack objectives. They do it, under fire, under pressure, professional, efficient. The objective is the ISIL bridges. 3 bridges, all needed. The 3rd Parachute Brigade attacks, moving through German fire, taking casualties, but advancing. Taking ground, fighting for every meter. The Germans defend stubbornly, but the paratroopers are relentless. By midday, the bridges are captured, damaged but usable. Engineers move in, begin repairs, clearing obstacles, making them passable. Success, objective achieved. But the cost is high. Many dead, many wounded. The price of victory measured in young lives. The fighting continues through the day. Small unit actions, clearing German positions, securing objectives, expanding the perimeter, linking up with ground forces. British and Canadian troops advancing from the Rhine reach the airborne perimeter. The link-up is successful. The airborne forces are no longer isolated. Reinforcements arrive, supplies, heavy weapons. The position strengthens, but casualties have been severe. The 17th Airborne lands with approximately 9,000 troops. By day's end, they've taken over 1,300 casualties. Killed or wounded. Nearly 15% losses in one day. One operation. That's catastrophic by most standards. But for airborne operations, it's expected. The nature of the mission, the risks inherent in the operation. The British 6th Airborne fares slightly better. About 7,000 troops. Roughly 1,000 casualties. Still terrible. Still devastating. But the mission succeeds. Objectives secured. Ground forces supported. The Rhine crossing succeeds partly because of Varsity. The airborne assault creates the breakthrough. Opens the route inland. Enables rapid advance. The air component suffers too. Transport aircraft, gliders. Over 50 aircraft are lost. Shot down by flak, fighters, ground fire. Crews killed. Some survive crashes. Others don't. The air crews are often forgotten. But they're as essential as the paratroopers. As brave as necessary. Without them, there is no airborne operation. The Luftwaffe tries to respond. German fighters attack the transport stream. But Allied fighter escorts engage them. Shoot most down. The few that break through are quickly dealt with. German air power is weak by 1945, but not non-existent. Still dangerous. Still deadly when they connect. By evening, March 24th, Operation Varsity is complete. Objectives achieved. Ground forces advancing rapidly. German defense is broken. The Rhine crossing succeeds. Montgomery's forces push inland, advancing toward the heart of Germany. Toward final victory. The airborne forces consolidate positions, collect casualties, recover wounded, count the dead. The survivors are exhausted. Physically, emotionally. It's been a brutal day. Brutal operation, but successful. The mission accomplished. At terrible cost, but accomplished. The strategic impact is immediate. The Rhine crossing succeeds more quickly than expected. German resistance collapses faster. The airborne assault creates chaos in the German rear. Disrupts reinforcements. Destroys communication. Creates confusion. The ground forces exploit this. Break through. Advance rapidly. Within days, Allied forces are deep into Germany. The Ruhr industrial region is encircled. Hundreds of thousands of German troops trapped. The war in the West is effectively over. Germany cannot recover, cannot replace these losses. The end is coming. Fast Operation Varsity contributes directly to this. The largest single-day airborne operation in history. Over 16,000 troops dropped in hours. Achieving objectives. Supporting ground forces. Enabling victory. The cost of thousands of casualties. But achieving the mission. The aftermath is sobering. The wounded are evacuated. Field hospitals overwhelmed. Surgeons working non-stop. Triage. Save who you can. prioritize, make impossible choices. War surgery is brutal, efficient, necessary. Many survive who would have died in previous wars. Medical advances save lives, but many still die, too badly wounded. Beyond help, the dead are collected. Graves registration handles them, identifying bodies, recording names, serial numbers, personal effects, ensuring families are notified, ensuring the fallen are honored. Buried properly, recorded, remembered. It's grim work, necessary work. Someone has to do it. Chaplains hold services, brief, simple, no time for elaborate ceremonies. Too many dead, too much to do. The living need attention too, comfort, support, spiritual care. The chaplains work tirelessly, exhausted, overwhelmed, but necessary, essential. Letters are written. Officers informing families. Your son, your husband, your brother, killed in action. March 24, 1945, Operation Varsity. He died bravely, doing his duty. He will be remembered. Standard phrases, repeated thousands of times. But each letter represents a family destroyed, a future lost, a life ended. The survivors cope, each in their own way. Some talk, processing experiences. Others stay silent, withdrawn. Some drink, trying to forget. Others pray, seeking meaning, comfort. Everyone handles trauma differently. There's no right way, no wrong way. Just survival, just getting through. Operation Varsity proved several things. That large-scale airborne operations could work. That daylight drops were feasible. That coordination between airborne and ground forces was effective. That airborne assaults could achieve strategic objectives. All these lessons were learned, applied, used in planning future operations. But Varsity also proved the cost. Airborne operations are inherently costly. High casualties, significant losses. Even when successful, the question becomes, is it worth it? Are the objectives worth the losses? In Varsity's case, the answer is probably yes. The operation succeeded. The Rhine crossing succeeded. Germany's defeat was hastened. Lives were saved overall. Even though thousands were lost in the operation itself, the 17th Airborne Division never jumped again. Varsity was their only combat jump. After that, they fought as ground infantry, advancing through Germany, reaching the Elbe River, meeting Soviet forces. The war ending before another airborne operation was necessary. The British 6th Airborne fought on 2 ground operations into Germany. Until victory, they jumped at Normandy, jumped at Varsity, 2 of the largest airborne operations in history. They'd earned their reputation, proven their worth. It's terrible cost, but proven. The transport crews continued flying. Resupply missions, evacuating wounded, moving troops. The war continued for another 6 weeks after Varsity. Their work continued too, essential, dangerous, often overlooked, but critical to operations. The men who fought in Operation Varsity rarely talked about it afterward. Too painful, too many memories, too many friends lost. Veterans often stay silent, not because they don't remember, but because they remember too well. Because talking brings it back. The fear, the violence, the loss. Silence is easier, safer. Some wrote memoirs. Years later, decades later, processing experiences, sharing stories, honoring fallen comrades. These accounts are valuable. They preserve memory, sure future generations understand, learn, remember. But they're painful to write, difficult to read. They capture truth. Raw, unfiltered, real reunions are held. Veterans gathering, remembering together, supporting each other. The only people who truly understand are those who were there, who experienced it, who survived it. The bonds formed in combat never break, never fade, remain strongest throughout life. Memorials are erected at the drop zones, markers, plaques naming the units, honoring the fallen, explaining what happened, why it mattered. Local communities maintain them. Remember the liberation, the sacrifice, The foreign soldiers who died freeing their land. Gratitude transcending decades. Transcending death. In military history, Operation Varsity stands as the largest single-day airborne operation ever conducted, bigger than any other. Before or since, over 16,000 troops, dropped in hours, achieving objectives, supporting ground operations, demonstrating what airborne forces could accomplish, at tremendous cost, but accomplishing it. The operation influenced post-war military doctrine, how airborne operations should be conducted, coordination with ground forces, close air support, logistics, medical support, all refined, improved, based on Varsity's lessons. Both successes and failures, both what worked and what didn't. Modern airborne operations still reference Varsity. Study it, learn from it. The principles remain relevant. The challenges remain similar. Technology changes. Equipment improves. But fundamental realities of airborne assault remain constant. Vulnerability during descent. Difficulty assembling under fire. Dependence on resupply. Limited heavy weapons initially. These haven't changed. Can't change. Nature of airborne operations. This has been the story of Operation Varsity. March 24, 1945. The largest single-day airborne operation in history. Over 16,000 paratroopers and glider troops dropped behind German lines, supporting the Rhine crossing, achieving objectives, enabling victory. The cost was terrible. Over 2,000 casualties in the airborne forces alone. Dead, wounded, missing. Plus aircraft losses. Crew casualties. The price of success measured in lives. In suffering. Sacrifice. But the operation succeeded. The Rhine crossing succeeded. Germany's defeat was hastened. The war ended weeks later instead of months. Lives were saved, overall. Even though thousands were lost achieving it, the men who jumped that day were heroes. Every single one. Those who died, those who were wounded, those who survived. They did their duty. Accomplished their mission. Under fire, under pressure. Despite overwhelming odds. They succeeded. Their sacrifice enabled victory. Their courage inspired nations. Their memory endures. In military history. In memorial ceremonies. In the gratitude of those they liberated. In the freedom they helped secure. Operation Varsity. March 24, 1945. When over 16,000 men jumped into hell and achieved their objectives and helped end the war at a price measured in blood, but achieving what was necessary, what was required, what only they could do. Remember them, honor them, learn from them. They did what had to be done. They paid what had to be paid. They achieved what needed achieving. This is their story. This is their memorial. This is their legacy. The men of Operation Varsity, the largest single-day airborne assault in military history. Heroes all.